She is Dr. Simone Gold, Selective Persecution, with the ER in red. I thought that was very clever. The Legalization of American Fascism. This book is available where all books are sold, including Amazon. Welcome to the show, Simone. How are you?
Great to be here. Good morning.
Yes, thanks for being here. You're founder of America's Frontline Doctors, and I can't tell you how many times when I had COVID, repeatedly, I've had it lots of times, I feel like it just is chasing me, but I never ever knew I had it other than my hair would fall out. So that's how I knew I had COVID. But everybody was trying to force me to get these shots, and I just would not do it because of religious reasons. But they were forcing it like there was something wrong with us if we wouldn't take it.
Oh my gosh, yes. I'm a doctor and a lawyer, so I've practiced as an emergency medicine physician for many, many years, but also my legal training was highly agitated and focused on the fact that this was introducing tyranny to our nation. It was the first time in our nation that you were being required to comply with some sort of medical treatment to just go to a restaurant, go to a movie or a sporting event. That's really why we got very agitated as physicians, both on the science level. These shots were no good. Early treatment was available for COVID if you should want to take it. But the tyranny is what really worried us.
You know, and this whole thing about ivermectin, now we're hearing it cures cancer. We're hearing all these different things about ivermectin, but Trump mentioned it, so they made fun of him and said it was a horse medicine. And now they're coming out saying, well, we were kind of wrong. It is very effective for COVID. I know someone who had cancer during COVID, caught COVID, took ivermectin, and got over COVID. So they
Right.
lied about everything, Simone.
Yeah, they lied about everything. So we doctors got together. It's America's Frontline Doctors. We then formed a business called Gold Care. This is where you can find the honest doctors, because we're asked all the time, how do I get some honest answers from doctors, right? Because everyone eventually needs a doctor. So if you're interested in that, it's Gold Care, but we're here really to talk about, the lies from COVID. This book that I wrote, it took me 2.5 years to write this book, Fawn, because it's really well documented. I bring the receipts on the tyranny that came to our shores, right? Medical tyranny. Public health officials were kind of weaponized against the average ordinary American citizen. So we fought back, and, thank God, 2025, it's a new day. But like you said, ivermectin appears to have lots of potential uses. As you may know, 3 states have legalized ivermectin over the counter. And America's Frontline Doctors next month is going to be asking the FDA to make it over-the-counter across the nation. That's a game changer for people. Mm-hmm. We never want to be in this situation again.
Well, and for a lot of different things. It's not just COVID. And
right.
I understand people are mad at me now because they lost family members to COVID. I get it, but there was a certain group of people we should have been protecting, not the way they did it. I think this was a pitch from Fauci and the Chinese to just make a buttload of money and force people to just follow their will with no science really to back it.
Yeah, let's just be clear. Anybody who's mad, if they're mad at people like you or me, they're mad at the wrong people. During a respiratory pandemic, you should make efforts to protect high-risk people. That's always how it's done. Any public health textbook written before 2020 always said that. So you're supposed to kind of protect the grandmas, but you're supposed to let a virus like SARS-2 run through the community. The kids get it. They become kind of a stopgap, and actually the grandparents do better. We did exactly the opposite. We said we were not going to treat anybody early. We said we were going to separate kids and grandparents, and we said that we should give everyone a shot in the middle of a respiratory pandemic, knowing that the virus was going to mutate. We did everything wrong. Everything. Every public health policy for COVID was wrong.
And it was mandated.
Single one.
It was mandated.
And
that's
the
part
tyranny,
that makes
right,
me mad.
That's the part that makes me mad, too. We're on the same page.
Yeah.
That's what this book is about, is how our government has become very weaponized. So we saw it in COVID. We saw it with January 6th. We saw it, when they arrest pro-lifers outside of abortion clinics. This is not what our country is supposed to be like. So we're fighting back.
Well, there's only a half of the people who are representing us who think this is okay, because now that they're getting arrested after they were going in and violently destroying things that they shouldn't be doing, they're all upset now that their people got arrested. I'm like, Seriously, though, the double standard I mean, it's over. We've got someone in charge now where right is right and wrong is wrong, and you will do right or you will go to jail.
Right. And I'm so grateful for that. I want to remind people that January 6th protesters who were entirely peaceful, and in my case, for example, I was there to give a speech. I had a government-issued permit. But because I had a government-issued permit to be on the Capitol grounds that day, I got swept into the FBI madness and the DOJ madness.
Crazy.
And I went through that, and I'm a direct witness to what a weaponized government can do against an individual citizen. That needs to stop. That's what this book is. I brought the receipts, and I show how the government, or from all steps on, like from the tyranny of the nurses in the hospitals who wouldn't let relatives in to see their dying patients, the child care centers that had, the kids behind plexiglass. All of this happened because we've kind of set up a society in the last several decades that's allowing the most tyrannical forces amongst us to make the rules.
Right.
So I lay it all out there, and it's really a page turner.
It is.
And Anthony Fauci, too. I reveal a lot about Anthony Fauci.
He is a creepy little worm. I am just so angry with him. And while reading your book, I got even angrier. I'm going to tell you, it's a blood pressure raising book because all of your thoughts that you weren't allowed to think or say out loud were actually true. And that's why a lot of people are like, you're a conspiracy theorist. You just love that. I'm like, you damn right I do, because I told you so. I mean, come on. We told you so.
I just want to say, this book was a gift to everybody, and it's maybe especially for people like you, because I gave all the receipts. So when people say things like, oh, nobody said you had to get the shot. Oh, no. I've got all the links and the videos. We've got it all the receipts.
I know
what people said, what they did. Yeah.
Sorry, I know people who lost 20-year careers because they wouldn't take the shot.
That's right.
The shot. I almost said
we defended those
word.
folks. We defended firefighters and we defended nurses. We went into court to defend these people. So the silence on the non-apologies, and then people saying, oh, we didn't actually say that. Yes, you did. CDC director said it. The NIH director said it. Jen Psaki, however you say her name, the spokesperson for Biden said it. They said the unvaccinated are causing, not only the unvaccinated are causing this problem, which they actually weren't causing the problem, but the unvaccinated should be hauled off to, like, prison camps. I mean, they started essentially doing that in Australia. We were not that far off.
Yeah.
So I brought the receipts.
I did the microbial immuno whatever, and I got so sick from it that you almost wanted to die. Oh my gosh, I've never been that sick in my life. And then I still got COVID repeatedly. So I don't know what I did that for, but let's talk about the people who just kind of kicked after they got the shot. Perfectly healthy people who are walking down a walking trail and they just crumple at 33 years old with 3 children for no reason other than the COVID shot killed them. But nobody wants to talk about that.
Right. I'm here to remind everybody we cannot have collective amnesia. Children don't drop dead from heart issues. That's not a thing. That's not a thing. When they start putting defibrillators in elementary schools and they start acting like, oh, nothing to see here, they're lying to you. Mm-hmm. I've been practicing emergency medicine for decades. Healthy children, healthy young adults, healthy middle-aged adults even, right? They don't all just suddenly drop dead. And certainly healthy athletes don't drop dead. Mm-hmm. So I don't like the propaganda. I don't think we can move forward as a nation on a foundation of lies. We have to reveal this so that we can move forward in truth. Truth is stable. Lies are not stable.
Fauci thought it was funny, too, because he had a video saying they don't really need the mask. Blah, blah, blah. You know, I had doctors on that say, well, the mask might help. But I'm telling you, if something is tiny enough to be airborne, it's tiny enough to get through a mask, especially those of you who are wearing winter scarves that were, like, knitted. That was ridiculous. Some people walking around with stormtrooper hats on. They still are. We see people alone in their cars wearing masks. You know, if you've got a serious condition and catching COVID could kill you, I get it. Be careful. But it's still out there. A friend of mine just had it, and he had it seriously, and he was very, very sick. And one of my closest friends had it and nearly died because he got it so badly that it turned into pneumonia and almost killed him. So we're not saying that it doesn't happen, but
Correct.
It wasn't, our kids didn't need to be dumber for it.
Let me just explain a couple things to your listeners because they need to know this. COVID is a biphasic disease. It has an early phase and a late phase. And if you catch it early, which is when you feel kind of fluish, you don't feel good, it's like a cold, right? You don't feel great. If at the early stage you take a medicine like hydroxychloroquine or like ivermectin, a budesonide with zinc, or quercetin, which is over the counter, you do something like that, it almost never progresses to the late stage. The late stage is definitely dangerous. Especially if you've got multiple comorbid conditions, diabetes and high sugar being like the most important. But you don't have to progress to the late stage. That is what our government failed to provide its citizens, which was access to early treatment medicines that knocked it out, made sure you didn't progress to the second stage, to the late stage.
Well, and I'm so glad we have things like First Liberty Institute who are fighting for even the Navy SEALs who said, I'm not putting that in my body. They're finally just now, after all this time, getting their rights and their retirement and stuff back. But why? Why did it have to go so far?
Yeah, because there were global interests in bringing down our national sovereignty. This became very global. The WHO, I want to remind people, thank God, on his first day, Trump took us out of the WHO. The WHO had as part of its agenda that it would determine public health laws for the whole world, meaning it could say, there's a crisis in the United States. We have to suspend United States Constitution to handle the public health crisis. Can you imagine that? That the WHO would get to decide that? Trump got us out day one. Those were the motives. The motives were global elitists who had not America or individual well-being at heart.
I don't even like that band. I'm just kidding. I know you mean I know what you mean, the World Health Organization. Yeah. All right, but the book is a page turner because you're going to be like, I knew it all along, and and you've got so many people giving praise to it who I've had on the show, from Dinesh to just Michael Flynn to all these people who have been on my show. They all read your book and they're like, finally, somebody said it. Dinesh has been fighting just like you, trying to get people to pay attention. So you guys are like twinsies. But
he knows he faced the persecution of a weaponized government earlier than I did because he was more involved in the political. I was being a doctor. But I urge everyone to get this book. You can't. It's not even a financial thing for me. It's not because we make money. The money goes to a nonprofit. I urge everyone to get this book because 10 years from now, you're going to want to have this book. You want to have all the receipts. We have all the receipts in there. Yep. Like everybody who's going to say, I never said that. No, yeah, you did. You did. Here it is.
Yeah. So a lot of people who got really, really sick because they had underlying conditions. The people who should have been very carefully guarded, you had Cuomo deciding to just throw sick people in with them because nobody could figure out what to do because the guy who was supposed to be guiding us had a monetary vote in this thing, and he was lying about it. So he needs to be in prison.
The issue with Cuomo is really big. That's also in the book. Cuomo specifically killed a lot of nursing home patients. I don't care. Let him come after me for defamation. There you go. His policies, he knowingly put policies in place that were lethal to New York nursing home residents. More people died, per capita in New York than it's just an unbelievable catastrophe. And I think you heard that he wanted to run for mayor of New York City. Yeah. Absolutely not.
He'll probably win too because they're pretty stupid out there, for the most part.
I know, but at the end of the day, people are people, and I agree with you. It's a completely blue area, but I really want the best for humans. And this guy doesn't care at all about individuals. He didn't care at all he did not care about grandma. Nope. Grandma, he just did not care about grandma.
He didn't care about anybody but Andrew Cuomo. All right, Dr. Simone Gold is the author of Selective Persecution, and it's the legalization of American fascism. You'll love the cover because it kind of tells the story of the book just by looking at it. But it's available everywhere. Make sure you get a copy. She is also the founder of America's Frontline Doctors. Go online. All you have to do is Google her name or DuckDuckGo it, and the correct information will come up, and you will see everything in it. As she said, the receipts are there, the testimonials are there. It's all there. So there's no denying it. Simone, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.